Emmerdale's been home to its fair share of extraordinary drama. But now a very different kind of real-life excitement is on the way. For the very first time, the cast of Emmerdale are throwing open the doors of this iconic Yorkshire set to host a unique First World War centenary street party.
Men less than half my age gave their lives for the country.
To honour the British men and women who made huge sacrifices during the Great War.
We can never forget what these men did for us.
A host of Emmerdale's most famous faces, old and new, are about to leave the set behind and step back 100 years into the past to celebrate the lives of unsung local heroes who drove the war effort.
I consider myself quite a strong woman, but these women were a different kind of breed.
From Woolpack chef to the real wartime cook.
This is a catastrophe.
Village vicar to the battlefield priest. Telly farmer to the real country land girl. And Emmerdale vet to the real frontline vet.
The weight of responsibility on that man's shoulders is amazing.
The cast of one of Britain's favourite soaps will uncover the extraordinary stories of these remarkable British men and women, who will be honoured when the cast come together to host their very own Emmerdale Armistice celebration. Tonight.
I could do the cow vaccine today, if you like.
Actor Zoe Henry, better known as village vet Rona Goskirk, heads off on the trail of a local Yorkshire vet.
Something happened, that's what I need to know. What turned him into this extraordinary guy?
One of the real men behind the heroic war horses of the First World War.
I've never heard a story quite like it. I feel like I need to do something to honour him.
Emmerdale was based within a real Yorkshire community, Eschald. And 100 years ago, working horses were at the heart of rural village life. But for TV vet Zoe, it's a whole host of animals that keep her village practice busy.
Apparently, they're all here for their annual vaccinations.
Now she's leaving Emmerdale behind to set out on a journey to uncover the story of a real Yorkshire vet at the outbreak of World War I.
It's an exciting little adventure for me.
All Zoe knows is he lived not far from the set.
Stories get buried in history, don't they? And that's really exciting.
She's been invited to the Army Remount Barracks to discover the identity of her local hero. Horses have played a vital role in the British Army since before the First World War, when over 1 million were sent to the front line. But even today, the Army has more horses than tanks, and the care of these military working animals is at the heart of their work here.
Hi.
Good morning, Zoe.
Zoe's meeting military vet Major Drew Tootall.
If you'd like to follow me, we'll crack straight on.
OK, thank you.
Well, I've got someone I'd like to introduce you to.
Wow. Who's this?
This is Joseph Abson. He's a 55-year-old veterinary surgeon who decided to do his duty to serve his country and signed up to the Army Veterinary Corps.
And he was 55 when he went?
55 when he went.
Wow.
Joseph had already reached the life expectancy of a British male in 1914. But instead of planning a gentle retirement, he decided to leave his practice, his wife Annie and his son behind, and volunteered to look after the vital war horses on the front line.
It's hard enough joining the military at the best of times, but to do it in the midst of war, at that age, it must have been absolutely extraordinary and terrifying.
Joseph would have had little idea what to expect on the Western Front. But with these incredible war horses already fulfilling cavalry roles, moving supplies, guns and ammunition, and transporting the wounded to hospital, he knew his skills were needed.
What an incredible guy. It's nice to have an image of someone, a very respectable, handsome man with a gorgeous big moustache. And I think the thing that really hits home with me, he was 55, that's an age that really is to be going to the front line. So I'm desperate to know what happened to him.
On camera, Zoe's character, Rona,
Put it on a bill.
is used to treating the animals of Emmerdale big and small.
All
finished? Come on.
But things are a little different for Zoe the actor.
I am only a pretend vet. I have no real knowledge of any sort of veterinary stuff. I love animals. I'm a little nervous around larger ones, mainly ones that are bigger than me and have hooves.
Before the war, big working animals, especially the horses that became so vital to the war effort, would have been at the centre of Joseph's working life. So today, Zoe's come to meet modern vet Graham Barlow.
So do you think that vets 100 years ago were more knowledgeable about how to deal with horses?
Oh, I'm sure they were. They had a huge amount of expertise because they were looking after these horses as they powered the farm and as they powered the army for the First World War.
But as Zoe's about to find out, the world of a Yorkshire vet in 1914 is not all that different today.
You're going to do what a normal Yorkshire vet does on his daily routines.
All right, amazing.
And possibly stick your hand up a few cows.
OK, brilliant, I think.
Here the ladies are waiting for you.
Oh, my goodness.
It's all going to be fine.
Okay.
You are? And another one, because you've got two arms. But
That's a very long glove.
I see you've got some beautiful jewellery on.
Yes.
And these ladies don't want that going up their
Quite
bottoms.
right.
100 years ago, Zoe's vet Joseph ran a family practice working alongside his nephew, Percy.
Things you thought you'd never do, eh?
The family were familiar faces across this part of Yorkshire, relied on by local farmers and working all hours to keep horses and other livestock safe and well.
So, Graham, talk to me while you're working about the vet's role in the farming community.
The role in terms of looking after animals has not changed.
She may be inspired by the work of a real vet, but Zoe's still not quite ready to get hands-on.
Do you want to come and hold this tail?
No, I'll stand here and watch you because you're doing such a lovely job.
Sorry, I'm just changing hands to make sure.
She's a brave cow, braver than me.
There was a massive community spirit 100 years ago. There were a lot more farms.
Oh my goodness, this cow's not stopped pooing. Good Lord. It's all right, darling.
This is a far cry from Zoe's Emmerdale clinic.
My goodness.
But joining Graham at a farm that could have been under Joseph's care has been a reality check for what it really takes to be a working vet, then and now.
This is entirely different from playing a vet. Actually, working vets are such a massive part of the community. Without healthy, fit animals, what are the farmers to do? And that's made me think how much that was even more so during the First World War.
Every day is a busy one on the Emmerdale set.
Action!
But alongside the day job,
Right, you might as well go as well.
Cut!
the cast are getting ready for Emmerdale's huge armistice celebration, honouring all their local Yorkshire heroes.
Right, we'll start taking these down.
Zoe wants to find out more about her hard-working family vet and his role looking after the war horses of the front line.
And I want to understand what happened to him, what he went through.
The equine injuries Joseph was about to face in France were unlike anything he'd encountered back in Yorkshire. Zoe's been invited back to join Major Drew Tootle to uncover the rapid advances Joseph and his small team of veterinary colleagues were forced to make to deal with the shocking conditions of the Western Front.
Good morning, Zoe.
Hello.
At the start of the war, the army only had 25,000 horses at its disposal.
Oh, bless him.
By the end, it had purchased over 500,000. Drew's team are about to perform a routine operation on a lame army horse.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
This horse, he currently doesn't have a name. He goes by the number 8834.
As the war waged on, Joseph and his fellow veterinary surgeons needed to find a way to treat the wounds they were seeing more effectively.
It has been referred to as the horse-drawn war. It was recognised they were important, and so the care and commitment was provided for them.
As his war diary reveals, Joseph was instrumental in setting up some of the first advanced dressing and triage stations for the horses. He was passionate about their care, organising how they were fed, checking they were healthy, and charting their recovery.
So what you're seeing here, Zoe, is really the legacy of the First World War. It was that groundbreaking work that has led us to where we are today.
Over the 4 years of war, the lives of nearly 2 million horses were saved by the pioneering work of vets like Joseph.
I've learnt a few things today, really. A big one for me is learning that, good job, I'm not a real vet, because that operating theatre was not my cup of tea. Hello, 8834, brave boy. How you doing? The other big thing I've learnt is how much a part of the First World War, I mean, I knew about the horses, but of course it stands to reason that without the vets, none of it would have happened. It's incredible. I've never heard a story quite like it. It's good to see you. It's good to see you awake. Hello. I know.
Coming up, Zoe uncovers a remarkable twist in Joseph's story.
I need to know how he went from this humble Yorkshire vet to this extraordinary guy.
And faces her fear to find a way to honour Joseph and his war horses.
Are you happy to have a go?
No, he's so big.
At Emmerdale's huge centenary celebration.
You're helping to honour these horses.
Such a privilege.
For the cast of Emmerdale, it's all hands on deck to get the village ready for their armistice event, celebrating the unsung Yorkshire heroes of the First World War.
I'm excited that we are remembering them in this parade.
On-screen vet Zoe Henry is following in the footsteps of Joseph Abson, the 55-year-old vet who left behind his rural practice to revolutionise the care of the great war horses of the front line.
The easy route for anybody would be to say, no, thank you, I won't go to war at my age, but he didn't do that.
Zoe's journey has taken her from the Yorkshire farms under his watch to highly specialised equine surgery.
I mean, he must have seen some horrific things and he must have been in awful conditions.
And now Zoe's tracked down two people who might be able to give her the next chapter of Joseph's story.
Claire? Hi, I'm Zoe. Hello,
Oh,
Jennifer.
hello.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Claire Harvey and Jennifer Day are Joseph's great and great-great nieces.
So, ladies, I know very little about Joseph, so can you colour in the picture a little more for me?
All I've got is a paper trail, really. It's a bit of a mystery as to what happened during the war years, but I feel very, very proud of him, and he's a very hard act to follow.
Are you a vet as well?
Yes.
Ah, okay, right.
She got the veterinary genes, so...
I had no idea that there were any ancestors that had also been vets. It was a complete surprise to me.
And I assumed Claire would know that she had a vet in the family, but somehow she didn't, so...
What can you tell me about Joseph's experience, what he got up to during the war?
So, this is a photograph, and this is Joseph just down here. And what I particularly like are his sort of mischievous, kind eyes. And this was his prayer book that he took away to war with him. But what's so lovely is to think he held that in his hand. He maybe had it in his pocket at key times during his period of service.
July 20th, 1916. Wow, that's amazing.
But this is all the information Claire and Jennifer have about Joseph's time on the Western Front.
On his return from war, he was Treasurer of the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons and President of the Veterinary Medical Association, which are two very eminent positions and suggest he was really a mover and a shaker. Almost a sort of post-war super vet, really.
Wow.
Ladies, thank you so much. I've learned so much.
I'm
Thank you, Jennifer. It's been
left feeling a little baffled by how little they know of his involvement. So what I need to understand now is how he went from this humble Yorkshire vet to this lauded, very well-esteemed vet after the war. Something must have gone on, something extraordinary. I need to know what happened to him.
Joseph was one of over 1,000 officers serving as veterinary surgeons across the war. But although very few recorded their experiences, their success rate speaks volumes. The British Army veterinary hospitals in France received 552,000 injured horses. Nearly 3/4 of them returned to their duties.
Something happened, something changed, Joseph. So that's what I want to understand.
To shed light on Joseph's role in this,
Hello. Graham? Hi.
Zoe's come to meet military historian Graham Winton.
So, Graham, before the war, Joseph was this well-respected vet, and then I know afterwards he went on to great things. What can you tell me?
Joseph was a very experienced vet. The army was desperately short of skilled, qualified veterinary officers, so he would have been absolutely perfect.
And would he have been hands-on still?
As you see from his war diary here, he's preparing advanced dressing stations, advanced collecting stations, so that horses that are actually wounded go back to a base hospital. His workload was phenomenal.
Zoe's Yorkshire vet helped establish new ways of looking after horses injured in battle, with advanced dressing stations offering a more hygienic way of providing treatment to more animals than ever before. He had stepped up from working in a small practice to overseeing hundreds of men, all tasked with the same imperative: to keep the nation's war horses fit and well.
If he hadn't done his job properly, the army would have actually failed during the war.
Wow.
He was promoted to the rank of major, in charge of a division of over 5,000 horses that would be required for artillery units, for transport, for field ambulances. He's quite exceptional.
He was in charge of a whole division?
Yeah, it's a performance which is recognised by the award of 2 mentions in dispatches. 1 is good, 2 is particularly good, and it appears that he got those for bringing back wounded horses during the Battle of Loos in 1915.
Very brave man, then.
He's also awarded in 1916 the Distinguished Service Order, the DSO, a very high honour for an officer to receive this award, and of course it's awarded by the King.
This was one of the highest military honours bestowed on anyone from the Veterinary Corps.
His awards clearly shows that this man is dedicated to his role with the horses during the war. Absolutely dedicated.
It's amazing. He's amazing, actually.
From running a humble Yorkshire practice to being honoured by the King, Joseph gave his all to protecting the horses he loved.
I knew before I met with Graham Stay that Joseph was this incredible guy. I don't think I'd quite prepared myself for how incredible. Putting yourself in that position and choosing to go to war could have been the end of him. But it was clearly the making of him. I mean, he's amazing. He really is.
Now it falls to Zoe, as it has her castmates, to find a personal way to commemorate this forgotten hero of World War I.
It's very nice to welcome you guys to our village.
At the Emmerdale Armistice event. Joseph worked hard for his war horses, ensuring that as many were repatriated back to Britain as possible.
All of that commitment and hard work that Joseph had to those animals, that love, that dedication, during the war, before, after, you know, I feel like I need to honour that and his love for horses.
So Zoe's decided to do something rather outside her comfort zone.
She's making me a little bit nervous.
And face her fear.
This has been a real baptism of fire in some ways, to get so close to the animals. But there's a sort of weight of responsibility on me to get things right. I want to do a good job for Joseph, really.
Zoe's come to the Horse Trust, where military animals are sent to retire, in the hope Mark Avison can help her get hands-on with Joseph's beloved horses.
Hello, Mark. I'm Zoe.
Hi, Zoe.
Nice to meet you.
She would like to lead an ex-army horse in the Armistice Parade, but to do so, she'll need to learn how to prepare Mark's horse, Yeti.
Right then.
All right.
Yes. What do we do?
So the first thing that we do is check the horse's hoofs. Push, check, clenches. It's all done.
Yep.
The next thing we do is then making sure that we're actually just flicking it out. So we work from the front to the back, flick everything over. Are you happy to have a go?
go. OK.
It's only now that the true scale of the task she's taken on is hitting Zoe.
He's so big, I can barely reach.
It takes hours of practice to learn to dress an army horse correctly, but Zoe's got nowhere near that long.
OK?
Yeah. OK, saddle.
It's heavy.
It is
Be
really
positive.
heavy. OK. I'm a little worried I'm not going to be able... I might need a hand with this. It's no fun being this short, I can tell you. Right. Sorry, Yeti. Yeah, I know. That's how I feel as well. It's heavy. It's really heavy. It's a lot harder than I had anticipated. Sorry, Yeti.
This televet needs to overcome her nerves to lead a horse in commemoration of the brave animals of the Great War and the extraordinary men who looked after them.
It is really important to me that I get this right and I do a good job. Now I know as much as I do about Joseph. There we go. How does that feel? Is that tight enough, Mark?
That's good.
That feels good, actually. If I'm saying that.
But as Zoe might soon find out, preparing a horse for a parade is one thing. Keeping it happy in a crowd could be quite another. Next time on Emmerdale 1918, Natalie J. Robb, better known as Emmerdale farmer Moira Dingle, hits the road on the trail of an extraordinary Yorkshire land girl who paved the way for women's rights.
Our country wouldn't be the country it is today without these people, and we have to remember that. It's so important.